right, what else are you got? Who didn't raise their hand? Higher ed, K-12, state gov, who else is in the house? That's it. Or at least that's what you're admitting to. All right, so we already did intros. I'll talk about kind of some fun stuff here for a second. I'll talk about Cisco options within the wired and wireless portfolio. And then I'll do kind of an overview specific to Meraki, where we came from, what it's about, why it's different, and then do a demo. So before I get into all that, give me a little more information about you guys. Who has Cisco Meraki? Couple. Cool. What do you guys have? Wireless, wired, both? Wireless. Okay. Who has Cisco on-premise controllers? Only guy in the room. What else do you guys have? Come on, admit it. It's all right. Cisco Air. That's a lot. Any other wireless vendors? No? All right. At least not that you're going to admit to again. All right. Ruckus. Cool. No worries. All right. So let's have some fun. I'm going to ask some questions. You guys raise your hands, and I'll literally throw t-shirts at you. Okay? If you answer it correctly. You have to answer it correctly. That's the key, of course. All right? So I'm not going to read it, but first person to raise their hand will get it. All right? When was the iPad introduced? Go.
2008.
2008 is wrong.
2000?
Wrong.
2010.
Wrong.
2011?
2011. Large?
No. Sure.
2011. The point being, it feels like it's been forever, but the market in the wireless space is moving fast, right? So we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's keep going. All right, tablet sales will be both laptop and desktop. When?
87.
17's wrong.
2015.
15 is right. All right, so 2015. Both laptop and desktop, that's the key. We've already actually peaked, tablets already actually peaking desktop already. But both next year, right? Next. 2014, percentage of workloads in the cloud. Don't answer twice, that's already see you trying. Raise your hand, got it? What?
74?
That is right.
74%, nope, wrong.
Oh.
27 wrong.
51.
51 is right, and I'm glad because I'm at a largest. Yes, 51%. So we're at that tipping point where, literally this year, we're gonna tip over the 50%, right? So again, we'll talk about that. Let's keep going. 2017, what percentage of global traffic will be video? Global traffic. Boom, got it. 69. I'm running out of shirts, so you're starting to get whatever we got left. 69%. So just think about that. How much video is going to be hanging out there in the internet? All right, last one. Traffic from wireless devices will beat out wired devices when? I got to check this one. I don't even remember. All right, yes.
Right now.
Wrong.
2014.
17.
70's wrong.
15.
15's wrong.
16.
All right. I think she was the first. Got it. 16. That's right. So what does all this crap mean? A couple things, right? So one, everything's moving fast, right? 2011. It was 3 years ago the iPad was just introduced. It's really not that long ago, right? We're on like the 5th iPad or whatever it is, right? We got to kind of adapt and change with our solutions we're trying to put in place. We'll talk why that matters in Meraki. Cloud is maturing, right? That tipping point of 51% is there. Applications, we've got to be able to control them Internetworks because they're just taking over in certain areas. And then managing wired and wireless together into this one instance, single pane of glass. I hate saying that, but it's true in Meraki. Is something that really means something. So, all right, Cisco. In the wireless arena, we have options, right? We have a lot of options for that matter. So what you guys know from Meraki is all the way on the left. What you know from controllers is probably centralized or something in there, right? But the point being, if you want to run a controller-based environment, no worries. We got you covered on the Cisco front, right? If you want to run a converged access environment on-premise with controllers, we can do that. Or if you want to run that same type of converged access in the cloud, right, with the Meraki Cloud, we can do that as well. So, just to show you guys that it's all there. Any questions on this? And as you can tell, I like being interactive, so let's talk and have questions. All right, so, Meraki. Who knows the actual beginnings of Meraki? Nobody? You guys have bought, no, you don't count. You guys have bought it and you don't know. All right, cool. So let me give you the minute background, and then you don't have to read any of this crap, by the way. I'll give you the minute background story. So, 3 guys at MIT were doing a project called the RoofNet project. And it was blanketing the campus of MIT and the surrounding city of Cambridge with free Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, right? And they were running on their buddies' rooftops and putting these big antennas and then scrolling down to their basements and throwing Dell towers down there, right? In the end, what really happened is they realized wireless is a pain in the butt. And offering a public Wi-Fi service in a large city area was really difficult to do because you're managing all these disparate nodes that are kind of connected, kind of not connected. They're meshing. How do we manage this in a very concise way, a simple way, right? And that's how it all started. And they were presenting their findings at a conference, specifically how they started making their own motherboards and putting everything in their own database that they developed, their own protocols they developed. And the founder of Gmail was sitting in the audience, and he's like, "That's awesome! Come bring me 1,000 of those to the Googleplex." They were like, "Well, we have 5, and what's a Googleplex, right?" Because they didn't know this is years ago. The internship movie wasn't out yet, right? So, very, very long story short, they sat with them for a while. They learned how to build this GUI I'm going to show you. They learned how to build very robust clouds, and that's kind of where it started. First customer, first investor was Google, right? From there, they were growing leaps and bounds. And Cisco bought Meraki in 2012, so we're almost 2 years fully in. It's been great so far because we have A, the Cisco brand behind us, right? B, we can leverage the rest of Cisco, whether that's development, whether that's hardware, whether that's sales, whether that's support, right? We're able to leverage that, but still maintain our very innovative product set and culture even in the office that Nova works at, for example, right? So that's where we're at. Where we're going is to grow this product line, right? So today, wireless, switching, security appliance, and MDM, right? In the last year, we've revamped all the wireless, we've done all new switches, added new MX, launched a new MDM product. So where we're going is just to keep growing it, right? But it is a platform that is fully managed from a web browser, from the cloud, right? Any questions so far? You guys are easy. Don't be so easy. All right, so what is it? Can anyone talk through the architecture of this? If you guys own it, you should. Yeah? All right. That's all wonderful. All right, so what does it mean? Let's just take one AP, for example. Let's just say we just had a Meraki AP, right? And you had a HP switch, a Cisco switch, whatever, right? And then you had some type of router or firewall, and then it was all connected to the internet, right? So every device in the Meraki world, ET phones home. That's my technical term for it, right? ET phone's home to the cloud, no configuration needed. The minute you plug it in, it goes, where do I need to go? I need to go to the data center from Meraki. So it crawls out your network, gets DHCP, crawls to the internet, finds its life, right? And that's based on a serial number and tokens we put on the device, etc. That is only management traffic. The only configuration, the only traffic that sends out to the cloud is management traffic, not the full packet. Not like in the controller world, where everything runs to the controller and then back into the network from there, right? So right from there, we're doing the switching on a trunk. So only managed traffic, fully secured. If you lose the internet, right, everything still functions as is. So all the SSIDs are still broadcast. Devices can still come online. You can still even print, file share, connect via Radius server, what have you, right? So no interruption when that happens. The only other 2 things here to really mention are, 1, the certifications on the data center side. So because of that Google heritage, we do have some differentiators out there from the ankle biters trying to announce cloud networking, right? And those are SAS70 Type 2, a few others that I don't try to remember the acronyms because they're impossible. But really 4 nines uptimes, and we've proven it, right? We've gotten the certifications. The other thing is HIPAA and PCI compliance. So if you are, running medical records over it or doing point of sale, no worries there. So any questions on the architecture and kind of differences from what you're used to maybe in another world? No. All right. Either I did a really good job explaining that or you guys aren't listening. All right, so demo time. Let me change the display a little so I can see what you're seeing. There we go. All right, so I'm in Chrome, right? All I did was log in to an account. By the way, I'm doing all of this over my MiFi here sitting right there. So it will be slightly slow, but all I had to do is log in, right? Username, password. You can set up two-factor authentication very quickly, which is the phone number. We send you a text message for that two-factor auth. That's all built in. So let's make this full screen. I pulled up a county government network that we can play around with. So ask questions. If you guys want to see a certain feature, you want to know how do they do this, how do they do that, let's talk through it, right? But county network in Maryland, I didn't want to pick on anyone here from North Carolina, so I went to Maryland. It's Washington County government. They have switching, they have wireless, they may have a few MXs, I don't even remember actually. But it's a live network, so this is their live network right now. So, as you can see on the right here, well, let's look at it. As I dive in, you can obviously see the pinpoints from different networks, right? So sheriff's office versus BWA versus water quality, location, etc. Right? So I can see all those. I can also expand this list out and see all the different locations based on their network names here, or I can toggle by usage, what have you, right? And I can see wired, I can see wireless, I can see the network health. So fun part about network health, I can see most of these networks went out at the same time. I'll bet they had an internet blip, right? Very quickly and easily, you can see that. Type of devices, how many devices at each location, etc. So if I want to dive into one of those networks, I just picked whatever was there, right? I can see wireless network. One cool thing to mention about Meraki. So what's highlighted here is a little message. It's the same message they would have gotten via email as well. And it's saying, hey, on November 17th at 3 a.m., yeah, 3 a.m., you have a firmware update scheduled, right? So the old days of having to deal with firmware and figure out, hey, shoot, wait a second, I got to download this one for the controller and that one for Prime, and don't mean to pick on the brethren Cisco, but you guys get it, right? You don't have to think about all those firmware update things. Meraki kind of takes care of that for you by looking at the devices, understanding what level you're at, understanding what it's connected to, and how it can, how they can do that for you. And then you pick your upgrade window, we send you an email, and you say, hey, cool, keep going, do it in that window, or wait, I'll do it now, or wait, do it a week later, right? During your control time, your change time, right? Your maintenance window. So that's one cool thing from a Meraki standpoint. As I dive down, I can see where there are APs on the map. Let's look at clients. So for this network, for the last week, what we're looking at, right? I can see they've done 9 gig over this network. Make this a little bigger for everybody. And I want to pop my favorite columns. Manufacturer, user. That's cool. And I can quickly see, whoops, by usage, what are the top users on this network, right? So I can see this iPhone's done 1 gig out of that 9. That's pretty high, actually, right? I can also see kind of what it looks like over that week, or month, or day, or 2 hours. And I can quickly say, hey, how many iPhones iPads have been on this network? 10, right? I can quickly look for, and this is all because I zoomed in, of course, iPhone, and see 20 out of the 66, right? So we're device profiling, OS fingerprinting on every single device at the AP level or at the switch port level without anything else, right? Without any other configurations, very simply and easily. And then from there, we can dive into the individual device, or we can look at what has the application usage been on the entire network, right? So here we can see they're really busy at work. I should have told Ron this was going to happen and told his people to relax for a week, but so 2.2 gig of usage, 24% of their bandwidth has been Netflix, right? And on down the line from there. So, why do we give this to you? We give it to you to do smart, intelligent things with it, right? Should you traffic shape this? Should you block it? Should you just go pick on the main users and abusers? So I could dive in to that Netflix rule and and see that, wow, there's only 2 people in this network using up that 2 gig over the last week. Well, maybe I want to do something, right? So I could click on the individual iPhone in this case, for example. Hold on, I'm going to kill this. It's bothering me. All right. So I click on the individual iPhone. I can see in this little pie chart, like all their stuff at Netflix, right? LittleApple.com, CDNs, Facebook, all good stuff. And if I wanted to, I could block them, right? But that probably won't happen. You get in trouble if you do that. One thing I could do, right? Let's say it's a county-owned employee and they're always on the guest network, right? How often does that happen? Well, you can quickly just say, get off the stupid guest network and get back on where you should, right? You should be inside. Or I can sign some group policy. They don't have any configured in this network, but the group policy could be bandwidth abuser, bad employee, and then you can have traffic shaping rules, firewall rules, network rules, put them on different VLAN, what have you, right? You can quickly and easily add those in. So that's there. If it's a public Wi-Fi, I have a lot of people that love group policies for public Wi-Fi. They'll literally go and have they'll have their help desk or their IT people have thresholds, right? So group policy number 1 is for the first time abusers. Group policy number 2 is for the pains in the butt. Group policy number 3 is, okay, all I'm giving you is like a meg per second or a kilobyte per second, right? But the point is you can and you can send that kind of device little notes or you can honestly just try and enforce good behavior, right? If they're sitting there every single day soaking up all that bandwidth. So that's group policies. If I go back to clients, the other thing you can do, since we're talking about group policies, is if these were all one type of thing, whether that's iPad, what have you, I can do the same thing on kind of a massive scale, right? So I could say all these county-owned devices, I'm going to block them right here from the guest. Or all these bandwidth abusers, I will put into the first group policy, second group policy, what have you, right? So you can do that at a massive scale as well. All right, any questions on everything I've gone through so far? No. Seriously?
So you really can't tell
Yes.
who's doing that. You couldn't really tell if there's someone in your company or even someone close by standing outside.
Great question. So it all depends on how they come on the network, right? In this case, I would gather it's just a pre-shared key. And if that's the case, well, what are you gaining? You're not gaining anything. So you know the MAC address, you know what type of device, and that's really it, right? Now, if you had a network, this is a different network, right? So we got a different network here, access point client, and whoops, that's not what I want. I want user, manufacturer, so I added my few. So, notice the user here. That user is Pam, she's pronounced her last name. Veloso, sure, that works. Pam Veloso. Point being, this is an 802.1x network, so we capture that user information. If it's AD, we can do the same thing. If it's what we call Meraki authentication, right? So guest comes in, their contractor, you have to give them a username and password for the day that has a timestamp on it, right? That'll be captured on here, so that'll all tie to them. You can turn on SMS authentication. So I have a lot of cities, county govs that are doing public Wi-Fi. They want some identifiable user information. They don't want it to be a hassle, right? So you turn on SMS authentication. As I hit that splash page, I have to put my phone number in. It sends me a 6-digit PIN, I think, and then I log in with that. And then that's tied here as well with their phone number. So yeah, you can get some information. You got to get them to give you it, right? You can't gather that information without them participating a little bit. Does that make sense? Great question. Anything else? All right. So we'll stay here because I'm already here. So how many people have ever gotten a trouble ticket that the internet is slow? How fun is that to troubleshoot, right? So who do we want to pick on? Let's pick on Sandra. So here's Sandra. She is mine, or was mine, she's not anymore actually. She was my helper inside of San Francisco. This is our San Francisco office, right? And so she called up and said, hey, the internet's slow. We'd start doing some troubleshooting, right? So this is what we're gonna walk through. So here's Sandra, here's the AP she's connected to, right? We can see it here. And maybe what I wanted to see is, let me look at the topology view to Sandra. If I know what that AP is, right, and I have a Meraki switch network behind it, let me see, and again I'm on my Wi-Fi, so bear with it. Let me see what that looks like. So here's the topology view. and you guys might not be able to see this, but that was the same AP she was on. It's a darker shade, right? And then I can see from a topology view, is everything green on the way out? Right? Can I get to the internet edge without seeing a yellow or a red? So far we can. So that's like the first check, right? That's the first thing I would do. And notice here, if I take out that and add in whoop, the other two checkboxes, right? I can also look at this, back it out. I can also look at this, you know, showing the redundant links if I'm stacking and have redundant links, or if I'm just doing multiple connections from one closet to another. I can see all the devices, and okay, good, we got something wrong in this network. I can scroll over and say, oh, on this switch, a power supply's offline. Go fix it, right? You also get an alert, of course, if you set it up. Or I can see this, hey, it's been unreachable for 4 hours, so maybe somebody pulled the plug, right? So, topology view, excuse me, really cool in terms of first troubleshooting. So let's go back to Sandra. I can see she's connected to Meraki Corp. I can see she's done her 802.1x login, all good. She's got, you know, traffic flowing, and I hate to do this to her, but okay, so she's been doing some work. Those top ones are grayed out because they're internal addresses, so don't worry about that. But she's done a little Facebook, only 6%, that's not that bad, right? And I can see she's enrolled in our systems manager, right? So I'll get back to that in a second. So far so good, right? Let's go to the AP. So I went from client to AP. So I click on the AP, I say, all right, let's check out the AP. The internet's slow. Let's figure out why, right? It's probably not, by the way. But maybe there's an SSID that's off that she wanted, right? So I can figure that out. Maybe something else is going on with this AP. Maybe Radius has an issue. And if it had an issue, we'd show you the ARP request that actually showed the issue. What was the client that couldn't get to Radius, right? Maybe the VLAN she's supposed to be on because the Radius is messed up. Maybe the trunk port isn't configured incorrectly, and it's not allowing that VLAN, right? So we can see that. Clients, 31 clients in this AP, not bad, right? Not pushing a ton of traffic, it's only 1.6 meg, so that looks good. We can keep going down the line, right? Channel utilization, ping device, ARP, trace route, maybe the online application she's going to has something going on. And by the way, I just had a university find out that their ERP that they were trying to get to was hopping through London, thanks to their ISP. So, throughput, blink LEDs, right? So we can kind of do a whole bunch of troubleshooting here. From here, we think everything's good. Let's go to the switch. So I can easily and quickly just click on the switch port, see the switch, see what's going on the switch, right? And on that port specifically. I could run a cable test and say, hey, is the cable okay? Maybe the cable pair got messed up. Someone stepped on it and broke it. Or maybe someone strung a 600-meter cable, right? And it just doesn't work. I can see, you know, packet information. I can see kind of what's connected to it, and that there's 26 current clients buzzing through this port, through the AP, right? So if I think that's good, I'm going to continue my troubleshooting. I'll go to the switch. Is there an issue with the power supplies? Right? Is there an issue with just something that looks funny for me because I know my DHCP, I know my LAN, right? I know my IP address screen. And no, it's not IPv6, so we don't have to think about that yet. Or maybe I want to look at the, by the way, history and event log's been on every tab we've been on, right? But I'll just show it to you once. I want to look at the event log of this switch, for example, what's been going on, or you want to look at the AP or the device, right? So all those are there too. Ping, table test as I showed you, check out the forwarding table, wake a client, cycle a port, blink LEDs, etc. But I think you guys get it, right? I just literally went through client to AP to switch port to switch. I could go from here to the uplink switch, I could go to the core switch, I could go to the MX security clients. If it's in Meraki's dashboard, I can continue to troubleshoot that, and that literally is single pane of glass for once in my sales career and not BS, right? So that's what I wanted to go through. Any questions on kind of what I just did?
So is it slow or not?
What?
So is it slow or not?
The internet. We'll go with maybe. We all know the answer. It's not. Right? Something's funky. We just got to figure it out. Yeah.
Would you be able to analyze like application, like if an application was causing, hogging a bunch of bandwidth or something like that?
Yeah, so good question. Live, real traffic time, layer 7, no. Right? I personally don't know anyone that can do that at a switchboard level live. If you think about the reporting aspect of that, it's a lot of CPU for an AP or a switchboard, for example. Now, what you can do, if I step back, I don't know what AP we're on, but we'll go back to something, right? What you can do from a historical standpoint is see kind of AP usage and utilization usage over a 12-hour, 1 day, what have you. The other thing you can do, going to a client, go to this iPad, whatever, you can obviously see what they've been doing, and you can go to the last 2 hours of their layer 7 usage and see that. So you can get pretty close to near time, right? But not live. It's a good question.
But you can see, obviously, I can tell what site they're hitting
Yeah.
or whatever, so.
Well, yeah, and so to go back one more, if packet capture. So if I just want to do a live packet capture of this device, right? I gave you all APs, I put the host name in there. I don't want to do this, by the way, because I don't know if there's any traffic over this, but let me just show you one AP, for example, and say view output below. I can do a PCAP or Cloud Shark, this other thing, and I can start it. Oh, yeah, sorry, I can't. I'm not an admin. But it would throw Wireshark essentially down there and do a packet capture, right? So that you can do that real time and see where they're trying to go, what they're trying to do. I did that 2 days ago at a customer's network, and we figured out it was an encoder, a video encoder that was throwing like crazy multicast traffic across the network. So yes, you can do that too. That will probably help you more for what you're thinking about. That's all 2 questions.
I was just going to point out, extra hop would be a good solution to do the granular level at the application.
Extra
level.
hop.
Yeah.
Some third-party solution. What does it do?
Just wire data analytics.
Yeah.
They offer a free virtual appliance or physical appliance as well.
What was the other question over here? No? You forgot it, or you just don't ask it? All right. I thought I saw a hand. Maybe you're stretching. All right. So let me show you. What do we got time? We got like. All right. Let me show you. I'll show you the high points of Switch, of MX, and maybe we'll touch on wireless. So security appliance is the MX, right? I call it the Swiss Army knife security appliance because it's got a lot of feature functionality in one box, right? And multiple box sizes, of course, right? I should go this way, you guys are that way. So low end, high end, right? Low bandwidth, high bandwidth, different boxes, right? So keep that in mind. So it can be here addressing and VLANing, so no worries there for a remote site. Really, really powerful. DHCP, firewalling, both layer 3 and layer 7. As Cyrus was talking about in his last session, layer 7 firewalls can even be these days countries. So if you just want to block China, you can do it really quickly with a quick drop down. By the way, excuse the ridiculous amounts of layer 3 firewalling in this network, but from a layer 7 standpoint, if I wanted to quickly block peer-to-peer, that's all I would have to do, right? Hit save, and it's done. What else can the MX do? The MX can also do site-to-site VPN. I think this is the best feature for this box, right? So you've got scenario, you've got no WAN at certain locations, right? And you want to be able to extend the network to them over internet without having to pay a lot for the ISP with a service level agreement, et cetera, right? Point to point. So you buy big fat dumb pipes and you put auto VPN over them, right? That's what we call this. And in 3 clicks, essentially, I can set up a full mesh VPN across multiple networks very, very quickly. So what does that look like? Let me zoom in. Off, split, or full, right? Connect to everybody, or connect to one single hub, whatever that hub is. We'll call it Sydney in this case. And then you got to tell it what subnets to send across, and that's it. You hit save. If you think about it from a technology standpoint, everything ET phones own, we have all the public IP address information, DNS information, and from there we broker that AES 256 encrypted tunnel for you. And it's healable. So if you have to go from one carrier to another, it'll renegotiate all that for you, right? So, pretty cool. No question? Really? Is it that impressive or no? All right. Just making sure.
Just to, I'm gonna start collecting y'all's cards.
Okay.
If you want, I'm just gonna move from table to table.
Cool.
If you want to.
Client VPN is built in. Active Directory built in for groups. Traffic shaping. So if you want it very quickly and easily do traffic shaping at the internet edge, you can do it very quickly there, right? So I could add a new rule, and we'll use Netflix as that awesome example from that network. Whoops, Netflix, where are you? Netflix, and I could just take the whole network down to 250K for Netflix, right? Click, click, save, done, right? Simple. Security filtering. So IPS IDS built into the box. It is SourceFire Snort. Snorty, as the SourceFire guys would call them. But true intrusion prevention built in, and here's what it looks like from a reporting standpoint. But you get to see your low, your medium, your high signatures, what those signatures mean and do, and be able to turn on IPS IDS. Again, same box, very quickly and easily. So I can see, and this is horrible because it's all zoomed in, but to give you the real view, you can see your one high incident over here. You can run down here and see what that exploit was, who it was, where it went, where it was going to, etc. Right? What am I missing? Content filtering really is the other. Oh, and one other. Duh. So, content filtering. So, if you need to block adult, spyware, phishing and other frauds, whatever the category may be, right? You download your URL list, you put your category in, you're done. The last thing that this does, and it doesn't seem to be turned on in this network right now, is WAN optimization. So, also built in WAN optimization from MX to MX. Save you guys on that bandwidth, local cache, accelerate protocols, and obviously help you guys out. The last thing, that's it. That's all I got. Any questions on security appliance? A lot of things in one box, right? But really it's supposed to help the edge turn down only to a fewer devices, right? So one box for multiple things. Switch. So you guys already saw the interface of the switch when I went through my little internet slow exercise, but here's where all of them can live, right? And from here we can see, hey, give me the 5th floor switches, right? And we've tagged these switches with different tags, right? You can tag them, or you could use the name. So you could use the name of 5.2.1, I don't know, and then there's your 5.2.1 and 10 and 11 or whatever, that's it. What's cool about the switches? If I want to take a switch, this 4 access wireless switch, let's say I'm going to add a switch to it, same closet, I can quickly just clone it to the next switch in that same model, right? So same port count, same model, and I can clone it to the next one I'm going to put in there. And then all I have to do is go in and rename the new switch, maybe change a static IP if I have static IPs, and that's it, right? So adding on and scaling out is really easy. The only other switch feature that I'm going to show you is what we call virtual stacking. So everybody knows traditional stacking, right? You can manage up to X amount of switches in one closet or across fiber, depending on the vendor. We can manage all of our switch ports from the same place, right? So I can quickly say, hey, give me all the printer ports, because I've tagged them printer. Or, give me all the VoIP ports, right? And here I can actually see a Cisco phone, some ShoreTel phones, all the different phones. I can hold down edit across, 15 in this case, and they could be on different switches, it doesn't matter. I go ahead and make my change, whether I'm enabling, disabling PoE, changing the link speed, adding a different VLAN, changing the access policy, whatever it is, virtual stacking. So again, trying to save you time, make it simpler to make a change inside your network very quickly. The other thing in here, you don't have to use names, you could just say, hey, give me all ports 1 through 5. And there's 255 of them, right? So very quickly being able to do that too. Any questions on virtual stacking? All right. APs. So APs relatively look the same from a view somewhat to switches. We can see all the different models and APs. I can click into one, I can search just like I showed you on the switches. Where's current clients? There it is. So let's click on one with clients. You guys already saw this, right? But one thing I'll point out is mesh. As you guys know, some of you know, every AP, the Meraki World meshes automatically, right? And I have that quoted from a customer actually. But the key here is it finds its neighbor. If it's part of the same network, it backhauls that traffic, whether it's just power connected to it or something's wrong on the switch port, right? And it's just getting power from the switch. It does that. Whether that's outside, outdoor APs or indoor APs, right? They all automatically mesh, right? So the only two things I'm going to show you are the kind of different ways we can get people in. To your question earlier, right? What are those ways we can add devices into any SSID? And it is per SSID, as you would imagine. So open, pre-shared key, Mac-based, WPA2 with Radius or with Meraki authentication. So this Meraki authentication one's pretty cool. What we do is we tie the wireless network to the MDM product that we have. So in MDM, we enroll a device. When we enroll that device, we put a profile on the device. And that profile also puts a certificate on the device. So what we've done is we said, why don't we just reuse that certificate instead of doing Radius? Right? Then you don't need another PKI infrastructure. You don't need another Radius server to manage. So you reutilize that. And then from here, you can select your groups of people that you can add into this SSID. So you can quickly just say, okay, add sales, add, I don't know what's in here, student, right? Add, I think there's some other ones, teacher, right? And I can quickly say, add those devices and only those devices. And these are the groups that we have in the MDM side. So tying MDM to wireless, really easy to do in our world, right? Let me kill these, otherwise it'll give me an error. But let's go back to Radius in this case, right? We can have a click-through splash page very quickly and easily set that up in here. We could, I talked about sign on with Meraki authentication. That is that, password and login that I'm going to give for a user for a certain period of time. We could have Facebook Wi-Fi. So I'm mentioning this one because a bunch of my cities that are doing public Wi-Fi are using this. What this does means nothing to us in IT because we're geeks. We're not the business development people, right? But the business development people of a city or a county love this. And what they do is they get a ton of data analytics that we don't, again, care about. But they do, right? They want to know how many people are coming in their city. They want to know what's the average age. They want to know is it male or female. They want to know all that information. And you just have to set it up very quickly with just one click. And then you tie in your Facebook account, the city or the county Facebook account, to here. And we tie those clouds together. And they get presented a splash page as a citizen trying to get on Wi-Fi. I have to check in or like your page or whatever it is, I don't know. And then the business development people get all that information. It's a great way to give them back a bunch of information that they want to know without a lot of work on your part, right? So that's another good one for your side. Sign on with text message, I mentioned that earlier. Billing. So billing is a good one. And let me kill up here because it's giving me an error. Watch how quickly I can set up billing. So let me give them free access for 5 minutes in the courthouse, right? Unlimited. And then after that, I'm going to ask them to start paying me. So $5 for an hour, I don't know, $30 for 30 days. I'm making this up, of course, right? But I can quickly in the courtrooms charge those attorneys for Wi-Fi access. And we transact the credit card for you, and we give you guys back 80% of the revenue. So it's a good way to start, getting revenue back into your organization and use it for other upgrades down the line, right? So pretty cool, nifty little feature. 5 minutes, thank you. Systems Manager Sentry. So that's a NAC type feature, right? To get on the network, you have to have MDM installed. That's it. We don't lock it down to certain groups inside of MDM, but we make you have MDM, right? So that's another way. All right, that's all I'm going to touch on. I take that back. I'm going to touch on one other thing. So in your city public Wi-Fi network, or county Wi-Fi network, guest network, whatever it is, put them in NAT mode. What that does is gives them an IP address off of nothing, right? It's off of our cloud, essentially. that we hand off from the access point. And then users can't see each other, they can't pass viruses and whatnot across to other guest devices. And it's not on your network, it's not on your HTTP scope, it's easy, right? So that's one side. Then, in that same vein, so on the guest side, let's say, let's even go to guest. On the guest side, you would deny them local LAN access, right? So NAT mode, keep them away from each other. Firewall on every AP, keep them off of the network internally, right? With that same firewall, you can do a lot of smarts. So if you are in a WAN scenario or a scenario that cares about bandwidth across your WAN, and you don't want to just block them at the edge wherever your internet pop is, you could block them at the AP level, right? To cut down that east to west traffic that's just going to get blocked anyways, right? Block it up front and save you guys some bandwidth. The other thing is on the guest side, you can traffic shape them down very quickly, very easily, and we can block and traffic shape things very quickly and easily as well. So we'll add a new rule. We all know the bad stuff, right? So you can quickly traffic shape what have you, but there's a flip side too. This is where an internal network, we want to take VoIP and video, all of it, and we want to ignore a limit. We want to put QoS on it. Maybe we want to override the DSCP tag to the switch for QoS. So the flip side, of course, is bad traffic. Good traffic, you want to traffic shape both of them appropriately, right? So again, very quickly and easily done. All right, any questions? Because now it's my limit. I want to give you guys time for questions. What's up?
Okay, so a building has free Wi-Fi for the public.
Okay.
Is there any way to prevent the employees from using it?
Free Wi-Fi from the public. Any way to prevent employees from
It's like
using
they
it?
have an Active Directory account with all your
Yeah.
rules here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, that's what's taking up all the traffic.
So, I see your dilemma, I get it. There's no way to automatically, I'll use the term. There's no way to automatically say, hey, I know this, therefore this device, this, what have you, therefore don't let them on, unless you manually do it, right? So, unfortunately, it's only unless you manually do it. But what I would say is this, I can do it pretty quickly. I can find out what people are doing pretty quickly. Here's how. I could go to that guest SSID, right? And start cross-referencing whether it's description, what have you, right? Very easily there. The other way is I can just look at all the wireless traffic. I can say, give me people that have user information, so they've given you an X at some point. We don't care when. In this case, it's the last day, but it could be a week or a month you could look at. And we could say, recent SSID. So if those cross-reference, then you know something went wrong, right? There's a couple ways to do it. Not automatic, but at least gives you some tools to do some snippet. Be big sister. I almost said big brother. What else, guys? Yeah.
In response to that question, can you
Yeah.
use the Meraki mobile device manager
Yeah.
to keep them off those public
Great question.
SSIDs?
So you can use MDM when you install MDM. You can install Wi-Fi, right? So what most folks do is they never give out information about their Wi-Fi network. So, and of course there's nothing in there. Let's do this. If you have a Meraki network, you just find the network and push it out. If you don't, no worries, right? We can manually say the SSID is Fat Finger internal, it's WPA2 enterprise, there's information, or it's a pre-shared key, very simply, right? Whatever it is, you can quickly give them the network without them ever knowing it's even there. They don't even need to know the SSID name, right? It can be hidden. And then, you know, it'll automatically go on that network every time because it's the preferential network. Okay? That's another way. Good point. What else? What's funny?
It's not you.
Darn, that would have been better if it was. All right, so let me close with one thing. I'll put back up my simple and easy. You guys see that? All right, so whoever doesn't have it, or if you just have wireless, you want to play with switches, let us know. Right? We're always into the proof is in the pudding. Right? This whole cloud thing is scary and gray and whatever. Right? So, proof's in the pudding. If you guys want to play around with wireless switching, both MDM, what have you, get in touch, let us know. We'd be happy to facilitate that. Nova works with a lot of you guys. I'm working with a lot of you guys, so your North Carolina representatives are here. Let us know or get in touch with us. We'll get you guys gear, we'll work with you on it. And the other thing is, if you haven't done so yet, go online, attend a webinar, and get a free access point to start playing. Right? I never said this, but you can take it home, play around with it there, or you can obviously put it in a place that makes sense, get some traffic on it, play around with it, what have you. So, cool? All right, thanks guys.
Give Corey a shout out.
Uh-oh. Caveat, I don't have it with me, but I will ship it to you. No worries.
So what we have here is pieces of paper, cards, etc. So you just
You do. I think we should make Amelia do it.
All right.
Come on, Vanna.
You got to find one that you want to get there. And
See, I got myself out of that. My hands are clean.
Michael Reiser.
Uh-oh.
all right.
Z1.
New call.
Send it out to you. You guys are customers.
So do you want to hang on to this?
Yes, please.
Hey, so thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Keep in mind, so Brad Tunnel with Internetwork Engineering. If you have questions, Corey and I will hang around for a few minutes. Please stop by and see us. If you need help determining of these products what might be a good fit for your environment, or you're adding on to an existing deployment, please keep us in mind. We'd love to have a shot to earn your business. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate you coming.
Thanks, guys. No, so it's C1. What it is one of our network devices. But you actually guys are already customers. Wireless, right? Of course, wireless. But stop it.
Bad for you.
Huh?
So it's kind of melding Spot. And also has wireless. So
Spot, yeah, man.
But put their hands on me.
You didn't see the little fortune spinning thing down there? You put your
yeah. It's got a license. I'll email myself your card right now. Yeah, man.
Secure property.
Yeah, that didn't help you when I'll bring the catalog.